You're watching BCTV, Brantford's Community Access Station.
Sayin, another opinionated, thought-provoking, and hopefully inspiring show is in store for you today, and I'm very excited. We have a wonderful guest. We're going to be talking finances. Trust me, you're going to want to take a pad and a pen to take some notes because this woman is phenomenal, probably one of the most well-respected financial advisors in the state of Connecticut, so you don't want to miss that. But in the meantime, I want to just open up with our drink of the day.
Yes.
Yep. And we have a hot drink today.
With our names on.
With our we have to drink it this way, I guess, to show.
So you know who we all are.
That's right.
I sucked down all my whipped cream, though.
This is actually, it's one of my favorites. I don't know if you guys use Tia Maria, but Tia Maria is one of my favorite liqueurs because it's not quite as sweet as some of the other ones, but just gives it a nice little, tang.
It's nutty.
A lot of Tia, not a whole lot of Maria.
And for the coffee, what I do,
Is there cinnamon in the coffee?
I put a little cinnamon in there. Well, ever since I read, and of course, Auntie, one of our production assistants, and I were just talking that cinnamon has a great quality for revving up your metabolism.
Ooh.
So really, you should put cinnamon in your cereal or anything in the morning. Just have that.
We should be sucking cinnamon down all day.
We should
Rev it
be
up.
sucking
Sprinkle on the
Oh, and it doesn't have anything to do with the caffeine that you're drinking in the coffee.
But yes, and
alcohol.
and
This
what
is
I do-
fireside,
and what I do if
bonfire.
I serve this drink is I do like a hazelnut or French vanilla, like flavored, but then I dilute it with regular coffee. So just in case someone really doesn't like the flavored coffee, it just gives that little undertone of a little bit of flavoring with the Tia Maria and cinnamon, and of course a little bit of cream. So,
Yum.
and there's no carbs.
I was going to say no carbs in there.
Even the whipped cream, no carbs. So.
I would love this
Oh, it's
instead
gotta
of a
have a little
dessert
sugar.
after dinner.
Yeah.
This is like
Yeah,
I would.
me too, 'cause I'm not a
choose
dessert
this
person.
instead.
Right,
Yeah.
and I'll tell you, I mean, I know that people watch the show different times during the year. It happens to be, on a cold day today. But really, this is a drink that you can drink anytime throughout the. I mean, if you-
Bonfires in the summer.
Right, absolutely. And if you drink coffee
Heck, I
throughout
drink
the
coffee.
year,
I drink hot coffee
I
in
drink
the
coffee
summer.
all day long, 12 months a year.
but this is a nice
All
little
year,
easy,
all day.
festive dessert drink, even too, if you're having a dinner party. So
Love it.
I love it. Thank you.
Well, and coffee is on the news. They were talking about the benefits of coffee, and now they're coming out with more and more about how it's heart healthy.
Absolutely.
Really?
I'm in.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've been a
yes.
coffee drinker since I was
Yes.
10.
It
so.
doesn't amp up your heart rate like
Yeah.
they thought it did. I mean, it's really interesting.
And
The
you
more
actually-
studies that come
And you
out.
actually burn more calories at the gym if you drink coffee. I'm seeing more and more people coming in with coffee.
I
Used to
drink
be
a pot
water
a day.
bottles,
I
now
drink a
it's
pot a
coffee to
day.
the gym.
I think that Dunkin'
Drink about
Donuts
a
is
pot a
behind
day.
all that, don't you
Yeah.
think? To sell the coffee.
Mr.
Folgers.
Now,
Or Starbucks.
I drink coffee all day long. However, it's decaf.
What?
Oh.
Well, that's
I
not
think
bad.
It's like a
All day
non-alcoholic
long.
beer. I don't see the point.
I don't need that caffeine to get. Could you see me on caffeine?
I need it.
That's true.
No, I don't need it. I don't want it.
I love it.
All right. Well, since today we're going to be talking about finances and how we can, regain control of our own and grow our own wealth, and don't be scared by. I've learned not to be scared by the word wealth because no matter how little of a nest egg we may have, what any size, there are steps to making that grow. But anyways, I think a big news fiscally in the state of Connecticut is GE leaving.
That's great.
Who's next? I mean, what are your
What's
thoughts
left?
on that? I know.
Okay, for the record, I've been predicting this, as you all know, for years, saying that we continue to go down this path. We're going to continue to become a smaller and smaller state demographically, and it's kind of where the trend is going. And it's unfortunate because it goes beyond just the fiscal piece of losing the tax revenue. It's also the way that people feel about the state, right? So a ship is sinking, people start bailing, and that's what it feels like. I was at a meeting last night, something completely unrelated. People started talking about it. Everybody's like, well, I'm moving here, and that's the unfortunate part. I mean, I love this state. I came back home to live here. And it's sad that people feel that way. But
I mean, something's got to change. I mean, the taxes we're paying are just so not fair compared to
Well, and they
other
went to
states.
a larger market. I mean, they went to Boston, right? So it's not like they even went to a smaller Midwestern state. They went to our neighbor.
A major metropolitan area where things are more expensive, probably.
Right, where they were still able
So
to
who
get
do we
better
need to talk to
perks.
about growing the economy and inviting businesses to come here?
Right.
Well, that's your elected officials.
yeah, hello, we need new state
You
legislators.
need people who actually do something in Hartford.
And even, what really bothers me about Connecticut, although I do love Connecticut, and I love the Four Seasons, this is my home state, but in working with my accountant, when you make a certain amount of money, you get taxed so much more. And the thing is, I thought it was just for the state of Connecticut. She says, oh no, it's the same amounts for the entire all 50 states. Meaning, if you make, I think it's 54,000 or whatever or more here, and the next level is maybe 90,000. I don't know.
The tiers, right?
The tiers. That's a lot of money in Kansas, but in Connecticut, 50,000, isn't that much? So they really should do a sliding scale. And my accountant says, start writing letters, Lisa. That's the biggest complaint she has because it really isn't fair.
The cost of living here.
And if you're trying to retire and then be on a fixed income and you're going to be watching all those expenses like taxes going up.
Yeah, retire. What's that?
I'm trying, baby. I'm trying to retire.
We'll get there someday.
Where's that Powerball?
Well, one good thing with the
Powerball.
the major Powerball was not won here in Connecticut. So I think a couple of the people who won in states that did not have state tax.
Yeah, all 3 states.
Isn't
that crazy?
Huge windfall for those people.
Yeah, so if it was won by a fourth winner from Connecticut, that Connecticut winner would have won significantly a lot less.
Or they would have
totally.
moved to
They
Florida,
could
taken up residency,
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
can you do
took
that,
their
though?
money.
Yeah,
why
not
not?
claim your winnings for
But
like
doesn't
6
it
months.
go with the time?
Sylvia's shaking her head, yes.
$1 billion. I mean, is it really that much of a difference?
We'll have to ask our financial
Every
expert.
penny counts.
I'm not in that world right now.
All right, on the subject of Powerball and money and dreaming about money, because we're all going to grow our money after our guest today. What would you seriously do if you won $1 billion?
I already had my whole plan ready to go.
tell us
With
what
my
it is.
tickets. I was going to incorporate a nonprofit called Urban Legends Philanthropy, Inc.
Ooh,
And I was going
Urban
to
Legends, I like that.
Nice title.
I love it.
And then I was going to do that as a full-time job, working on dispensing grants and stuff to people who normally wouldn't be able to get that kind of money. So
I
maybe
like
small
that.
businesses
I like
or
that.
women-owned business, minority-owned business,
That's
whatever.
awesome.
But
That's
but
great.
in order to do it, it would have to be something that would be income-producing for people,
Right.
so that they would be able to be more independent.
Right.
And that's what
and
I
then,
love to do.
And speaking of giving grants too, that's one thing that I was thinking too. Is I would like to set up a scholarship fund for high school seniors going into the arts, going into like my daughter wants to go into journalism, communications. Everything is more business oriented. There's really nothing for a journalism major as far as grants and a lot of scholarships and things like that. So I think
You know what I'd love to say? I was listening to Bill Gates and Warren Buffett the other day do an interview
Me
about
too.
how they're giving away a vast amount of their wealth. And kudos,
Yeah, the
glad for
billionaires
them.
get together and talk about
No,
how to
that's
give
great.
So
away.
awesome.
Not the problem. The thing is that they're doing things on a mass scale, right? So they're encouraging people to do things like with water and bigger communities and issues. What I like, what Patty's talking about, what I would like to do is let's focus on the middle class and let's get
Make
them.
a difference a little at a
Because
time
the
with
thing
each
is, like,
one.
think about a family that they might have a little bit of money in the bank. Yeah, they're living okay. But imagine if you said, you know what, we're going to take care of that kid's college tuition for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
It gives them that ability to get that little step ahead. head because, you know, in my business, my practice, I have a law firm, as you guys know, we do elder law, among other things. And when we work with people, they might be doing okay financially, but it's when they have to start paying for long-term care, when they have to nursing home, all of a sudden, their resources and their wealth dwindles pretty quickly. You know, it'd just be nice to have somebody sort of help. I always said that's the group I'm going to help.
Well, you know what? And so, therefore, I did not incorporate, and I'm very sad about that.
And I didn't buy the island I wanted.
Why can't we still do that, Patty? We don't.
still do that.
We'll find
Somebody wants to donate to my foundation.
Let's go
I'll
talk
give
to
it
Warren
away.
Buffett. Maybe we can convince them to take some of
I
that.
think smaller is better. You
Yeah.
can reach more people, touch more people.
Yeah.
Give
And that's
somebody
why
a
I
chance.
hope that more people would have won the lottery
Yes,
rather than
me
just
too.
3 or
Wouldn't it
4.
be good
I
if-
hope that it would have been
We
distributed
all
over
had
more
really
people.
good dreams the night before, though.
Yeah, we did.
Person lottery. But anyways,
Private island.
yeah. We'll keep dreaming, but actually our dreams can turn into a reality when we take a step-by-step approach of practical things we should do to grow our money. We'll be right back with our guest.
Don't
Thanks.
miss it.
Hi, welcome back to Just Saying. I'm so excited to introduce our next guest. This is Sylvia Guinan. She's a financial planner with Wells Fargo Advisors out of the Essex office, if you don't know her already. Welcome to Just Saying, Sylvia. You have, and the girls can attest to this, you've been at the top of our guest list, our wish list, for a very long time. I think because money is a huge issue, and I think it's something women especially really need to get control over, and because you're so well respected and liked by all of us and so many in the state. I call it magic. Sylvia has magical power. It really is. But let's start off with this, Sylvia. Why is it so important, especially to teach and assist women for learning about finances? Because many times you are teaching them from the ground up. Why that demographic?
Absolutely. I think historically women would always say, oh, you know, my husband's got it or somebody's got it. But I think as women, we're not as motivated about the money and what the money is or with our titles. As women, we want to feel a sense of security.
Right.
And
we're more emotions
right.
driven.
So we're not just wanting to know what we've saved. We really want to know what can that money do for us? Will I be okay? Will I be able to take care of my children?
Right.
Will I not be a burden on someone as I get older? I mean, these are the things that keep women up at night.
Right. And then especially during times of crisis, which I know you are great with dealing with women in some kind of transition, whether it be a job loss, sudden job loss, or a loss of a spouse, or divorce, or whatever. That's usually the time where emotionally they're not ready to start dealing with their finances, when you really believe it should be the opposite. They should address it right from the onset.
Oh,
right?
It's absolutely necessary, because if you think about it, it's the one thing that keeps us all up at night, right?
Yeah.
It's the finances. I call it SWAN, sleep well at night. And if you can do the planning, you'll be so much more at peace, and you'll be able to kind of move forward with everything else that's going on. Now, with that being said, you know, one of the things that I'd like to get in front of and talk more to groups, to women about, is not only doing the planning when they're in crisis, but actually when they're in a good place, when they're happy, when they think things are going well. Because that's a time that you're in a good frame of mind, and you're really more apt to be clear about what it is that you want to accomplish.
So you would suggest people actually know what their financial
Right. And Sylvia, you and I have talked about this, because it's the same feeling I have, that you don't want to wait till a crisis and then have to react, because you're doing things that would right. But what I find interesting, so in my practice we do a lot of family law, and I work with a lot of women like you do. And what I find is that, you know, there's the old sort of myth that the older women, the traditional 1950s household, the husband managed the money. But that actually hasn't changed. I see more and more women my age, younger, who still defer the finances to the husband. And I tell them, and then they get into, go through the divorce. Well, I have no idea how much money he has. What are you talking about?
Absolutely.
And these are women working. These are not women staying home by any means. Or maybe they are staying home. Either way. And it always mystifies me that they don't want to participate in that role.
Right.
So
Well,
what
I
can
think
we do?
a lot of it has to do with they think the fairy tale marriage will last forever and nothing will ever change. And so they're not dealing with, much the same way the people who I work with who are dealing with end of life or whatever, they don't plan for it and until it's a crisis.
Absolutely. I mean, and I love stories, and this is a true story. So I hosted a women's dinner probably about 3 years ago, and I had a round table with 10 women. And the whole dinner, really, the whole focus was about, as women, we need to know what's going on, whether we're happy, we're in a relationship, or we're not, how it's important. And it's interesting because out of those 10 women today, 7 of them are not with their spouses anymore. 3 years later. And the most interesting, one woman was married to a former CFO. And she was the one that was saying, oh, this is great. I love doing this, but I don't need this. I don't need to talk to him about it. He's got it. I know the plan. Long story short, he died suddenly, and she couldn't even write a check. And she's like very willing now. Now our next thing is we're going to do presentations to women. And I want her to be my keynote speaker because there's no one that can really talk about going through it as well as she can.
So you wanted to do more of these dinners and go out there and talk to women? I'd be happy to host one.
I'd love to have you. It's so much fun. I want all of you to come.
Sylv, you have an interesting story yourself, because I think that, for me, that I think what it also empowers you in the work that you do is that you went through challenges and crises in your own life that you had so if you can share a little bit of that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I got married young, and again, he was a wonderful guy. Wasn't what I had expected, and I remember
They never are.
True. But I remember being grounded and thinking, okay, you know what? I mean, there was a couple of things that went on in my head as I went on through my divorce and my transition, and one of them was money. I need to understand, and I wasn't an advisor at the time. I need to understand really what the finances are. 2, what was really important to me was that I have to live with myself, so I'm not out there to hurt this person. I just want what's fair and amicable, and I just want to be fair. I want to put my head down at night. And 3, deciding that, and coming to the realization that none of us are ever going to think anything's fair, so that, money can't really, create your freedom, right? So you have to be at peace of, you're going to let some of it go, and some of it you're not going to think is fair, but you have to move on. So that made me really, though, interested. And I remember feeling like I was going through this process. It was really not a fun process. It was a very miserable process, but I felt very empowered because I did do the work. And that's why I'm so behind women and getting behind them and doing the work. And, I'm in a position now where, I'll get introductions or, referrals, and now it's not just someone just got divorced, can you help them? I think it's becoming more prevalent now is to get involved as the transition is occurring. Now I'm getting calls from people like you, Cindy, all the time. Like, I'm thinking about a divorce of my client. It's, can you please sit with her and just calm her down and let her know, is she going to be okay? And that is really the time to really start thinking about working.
So you got to be proactive. What are some basic steps, just if someone's resonating with what we're saying? I mean, I know you offer a great checklist, like a starting point. I mean, what's a good first step for some people?
In terms of
okay,
absolutely. I think that the first part is really gathering all of your finances together. A lot of times when we think about our finances and planning, is we just think of our investments. Well, it's not really just the investments; it's the whole package. And I call putting that package into almost like a Tiffany box and putting it all together and figuring out how that works.
I like that analogy.
Tiffany box, that's nice.
Tiffany blue. Nobody's ever unhappy with Tiffany. But the reality is, there's many different aspects of it. In terms of wealth management, that there's the investments that we're all familiar with, but there's also the liability management. Can I continue to pay these liabilities? Is there a way to restructure the liability? There's also the trust and the will part. God forbid, you get divorced, you go through transition. People always forget to update those documents. Well, those documents are essential. And then, the things that matter most too. I mean, how are we going to care for our children, their education? Is it planned for? How do we plan for that? And now as women, we're in that sandwich generation where we're not only dealing with the children, we've got the parents too. So again, it's how do we plan through those big major areas of life. So I think it's important to get your information all together, share with your advisor what that is, and have them create a plan that kind of touches upon all of it. And I create for my clients a documentation called a Financial Strategy Action Plan. So in that plan, not only is their financial plan in there, but it's also the names of their attorneys, their accountants,
which is a great reference to have.
When they last updated all their documents. And again, that's your SWAN document, which I call Sleep Well at Night.
I love that. That's a good analogy.
Thank you.
So what should, other than people should come to you, but what should they look for in? First of all, I think everybody is crazy if they don't have a financial planner, and I don't care what your wealth is at the time, because I know there's certain financial planners who will only work with you if you have a certain amount. But the bottom line, you should have somebody to get started.
Yes.
But what should somebody look for when hiring a financial planner?
I think that you want somebody that's really going to be all-inclusive, that's not just interested in managing the numbers and the finances, but is really going to help you pull all the pieces together, like I said, and put it in that Tiffany's box. And the most important thing is, and I call my first meeting a fit meeting, so I think it's important for that to go in, share what's important to them, why they're thinking of either changing advisors or hiring one for the first time, and then having the advisors share with them how they run their practice, what their process is, and then, you know, take time to think about and say, is this a good fit? Because really, your financial advisor, in terms of working with somebody, you have to be able to really be candid and share everything. That's where they can really bring you value. And they should be asking you the questions. I would, you know, say if they're not asking you the questions, you know, about what matters most, what your goals are, then it may not be, you know, the best fit.
Right. And as far as, because I know we've been seeing a downward trend with the stock market, and a lot of people are getting scared, but that could actually be a good thing for new investors, right? Getting into the market.
It's a great thing. I mean, picture going to Nordstrom.
Good news.
You see a jacket that you love, and it's $300, and you say, "Oh, I'm not going to spend $300." You come back the next day, and it's $150. You're not going to say, "Thank God I didn't buy it. There's something wrong with that jacket."
So that is a good.
You're going to want the jacket,
I'm like,
the
find the
scarf,
jacket,
you know,
yeah.
the gloves that go with the jacket. I mean, you
Of
want the
course.
whole deal, right? Because you've got that kind of trip. And that's really what it is. And you know, I mean, fundamentally, I think investors need to remember, as long as you're buying quality, there's nothing broken with those companies. The management's still in place, pipelines are still in place, future products. It's just the noise that's going on in the market that's affecting the stocks.
And I think you've always taught me too that, you know, the stock market may go like this, but ultimately
but
it's
you can't
going
take
like
it out.
this.
Yeah.
It's going out.
It's
Right.
long term.
Right.
And the reality is that if you have a plan, it's accounted for the fact that there will be volatility in it, and there'll be some liquidity available within the plan so that you can sleep well at night.
I was just, okay, we're going to wrap up, but I was just reading a quick article about how investing in the stock market is more lucrative than your investment in your home. And everybody thinks the home is the big thing, but it's really not, because of all the money you have to keep putting into the home, and the taxes and everything else that goes on.
That's right. That's right.
That was great. Well, we're going to post all of Sylvia's information on our website, so please check that. And we will be right back. We could talk forever.
I know. Sylvia, thank you.
Thank you so much, Sylvia.
Thank
We'll
you.
be right back.
Welcome back to Just Sayin'. We're really excited about our food segment today, but before we get to that, I have one announcement. Today's question for Facebook: what would you do if you won a large sum of money from the lottery? Post your questions to Facebook @/just-sayin'. Okay.
We want to know.
We want to know. We want to know what you would do.
I would just spend it.
We have with us today my friend Gordon Lohr, and Gordon is from Sweet Frog Premium Frozen Yogurt. I have that right? Okay.
Perfect.
Okay,
Spot
got that
on.
right. And we are just so excited to have you today. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Well, thanks for having us.
We know, because of the title of your store, that you sell yogurt, but there is a lot more to Sweet Frog Premium Frozen Yogurt than just yogurt, even starting with the name.
Absolutely.
Could you explain to us what the whole concept of the yogurt store is
Absolutely.
about?
I'd love to. Thanks. That's a great question. And, so Sweet Frog, the F-R-O-G in Sweet Frog stands for fully rely on God. So it's you don't hear that a lot in business.
No, you don't.
But so the business
it's really
principles are really based on Christian principles, and it's really giving back to the community, doing things that support all the children, all the nonprofits, all the groups and teams. We have had probably close to 150 fundraisers.
And you've been open since 2013,
Yes,
right? So
yes.
it's only
In Guilford,
only
in
a couple-
Guilford,
yep,
my
right,
town.
and they're
In
located
Guilford,
right across
absolutely.
from the Walmart shopping center on the Post Road in Guilford. Okay,
You
go
got
ahead.
it. Spot on. And I'm just pleased to say that the team, we've all been able to donate at least, I would say, several thousands of dollars to all these groups. And I'd love to do one every single week if we could. It's really a lot of fun. We set up events. For example, this weekend we have the Cub Scouts. Guilford Pack 472, and between that 3-hour window, we're giving back 25% of all of the sales back to that organization.
That's fabulous.
Yeah, so it's just a feel-good. Who doesn't love to come in and have a sweet treat?
That's right.
And then to give back, it also makes you feel good as well.
Yeah. And you have brought some guests with you today.
I do.
Can you introduce them to us?
I'd love to.
Come on in.
On this side, we have Scoop. So everybody say hi to Scoop.
This is Scoop here behind me, right?
These are our mascots, and then Cookie over here, our two mascots. So you see them at a lot of events, whether it's marathons or we have them any birthday parties on site. The kids love them, and we have one small girl that was very disappointed because of the snowstorm this past weekend. She was going to do her birthday party at Sweet Frog. Yeah, the sweetest girl possible, but she got rescheduled this Saturday, so she couldn't wait to see Cookie.
Well, I told you, Gordon, my 4-year-old loves your place. Well, she likes sweets anyway, but I think she loves the fact that what kind of makes your place awesome, in addition to the charity work, which is exciting, but is that you can go in there and it's very kid-centric, so the kids can make their own sundaes, basically. They can do it themselves, which
We're
is
going to
really
talk
awesome.
about the Sweet Frog experience, which was the next question I was going to ask.
All right.
When you go into a yogurt shop, normally you go, oh, I'd like whatever the flavor is, and they put it in the cup and they hand it to you and you go away. Sweet Frog premium frozen yogurt is a very different experience. Would you share that with us? It was very much like what you're talking about.
So besides the principles I mentioned, we love to have an experience that's very positive, that creates a happy moment. Very rarely does somebody come in that's not already in a good mood, but if they're in a bad mood, they walk in a bad mood. So we try to keep it bright, airy, with wonderful colors, our mascots. But when you come in, you get to choose whichever size cup you want. We have 21 different flavor combinations, and people get to load it up with whatever they like, or a small amount if preferred, as well as over 60 different toppings. We have also introduced chocolate-dipped fruit, strawberries, chocolate-dipped strawberries are always on tap. We have,
That's healthy.
a little bit more healthy. For the more decadent side, one of our team members created a Reese's peanut butter cup surrounded by Oreos, dipped in chocolate and sprinkled on top. So that's more for the special occasion. Yeah, absolutely. But so we do have also an assortment of flavors.
Well, I'm digging the.
Tell us what you brought with you today.
I will attempt
I like
to do
this
so.
part.
Please
Here's our
come on in.
girls.
I've already had the Georgia peach. It's phenomenal, and I've eaten a lot of peach
Well,
ice cream
chocolate.
over time.
So we
This one's
try.
great.
Sylvia, grab one too.
Yes.
Give one to Sylvia. And,
Vanilla,
thank you.
Irish mint,
We try to always change out flavors.
That's tart.
I'm going to try the combo.
I told you when everybody comes in, it was going to be crazy.
Try this one, Patty.
I tell you, it's
my
always a
favorite.
fun time.
I'm going to have is that the vanilla?
This is tart, like
Here's
tart.
vanilla.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I do. I love
Try
that.
this
This
one.
is my favorite.
These are yummy.
Thank you.
Hazelnut
Thank you.
chocolate.
So do you
Hazelnut chocolate. Anybody want to
And what
try
are
it?
toppings?
So there's so many flavors. It's a matter of really trying to identify what people like. But we have everything for lactose intolerant. We have dairy free. We have soy free, gluten free. We've also created no sugar added.
Sugar free?
And I don't want to run out of time, but I want to ask you what's coming. You have something very healthy. Oh, and you have probiotics in your yogurt,
Yes,
right?
there
Which
are,
is
so there's
which is
healthy-
different
Yeah.
than regular yogurt.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
frozen yogurt anyway.
So besides the probiotics, the other
Right.
vitamins, we have had some interest. It's January, right? So it's the month of resolutions and health consciousness. So people can actually have a shake made up with either protein, creatine, or flaxseed added to it, and it's blended all together. So as good as these are by themselves, once you blend it up, you can drink it through a straw at that point if you're in a hurry.
Oh, this is good.
This show airs all different months, so.
Absolutely.
So Gordon, I'm going to pull my car up, and you guys are going to bring out
You bet.
the protein
Absolutely.
shake for me.
I know we're going to take an Orchard House client, so I think we're going to take a big group.
Ooh.
We're going to come see you.
Excellent.
They love
Oh,
it.
that would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be fun?
That's
Okay, we are running out of time. Okay, I want to thank you so much for being here.
These are
for
incredible.
We
Thank
want
you.
And thanks to Sylvia, guys.
Thank you.
Yes,
Yep, I wanted to thank
yes,
Sylvia
yes.
for her
Sylvia,
contribution
wonderful.
too.
And I would be remiss if I didn't thank the whole team. I have just a wonderful team of team members at the store, and they just do a great job of taking care of customers.
Thanks so much for being here
thanks a lot,
today.
Jody.
Thank you guys.
You bet.
Thank you.
And we are just
And here's
saying.
for just saying. Till next time.
This one's awesome.